Alright, I'm gonna walk through a quick character creation process. Hopefully I can show you some of the things that you'll have to take into note when you're making your character. So we're gonna jump right down to species. I'm gonna get everything sort of like my class and species like that out of the way first, and then I'll hop into obligation, background, and stuff like that. As a general concept for this character, I'm going to have a human sort of scavenger type person, and I'm going to have him be force sensitive. So immediately I'm going to come to the human's skills and stuff like that. Make sure you take a look at what languages they know, stuff like that. And I actually have a second piece of paper sort of off to the side here, or you can do it on a Word document, I suppose. But just to take some notes, I do have a character sheet as well right here, which I'm going to be putting everything in once I'm done. But just for now, in the early stages, I'm going to take notes on a piece of paper. So I'm going to write down, his characteristics, wound threshold, strain threshold, starting experience, and his special abilities, just so I can know them for later. So it's 2 across the board. Pretty simple. Wound threshold is 10 plus brawn. Strain is the same thing, but plus willpower. And now, something when you're creating your character, very important to note the starting XP, because you'll be taking from that starting XP to improve your character and customize them in your in whatever playstyle you're wanting to go with. For me, it'll be a sort of scavenger and force sensitive. So I've just written down all of that stuff. And my special abilities, humans start the game with 1 rank and 2 different non-career skills of their choice. And as always, they may not train these skills above rank 2 at character creation, which is just a limit that is for every character created. Alright, so I get 1 rank and 2 different career skills. I'm just going to make a note of that on my piece of paper too. Plus 1 rank in 2 skills. I'll just put that down. So now that I have that, I do have to choose. Well, I could just go straight to the force sensitive specialization, but I do want to have like an actual specialization as well, since I am sort of a scavenger type deal. I think technician might be a good fit for me, since I'm sort of a scavenger type. Mechanic, outlaw, and slicer. I'm thinking slicer might be a cool one. It's not quite what I was thinking, but I think that might be cool. Or an outlaw, maybe. I think I'm going to go with the slicer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to note that down, that I am a technician slicer. And that is completely free. You don't have to spend any skill points on that. So now that I have this, I'm going to be choosing this career path and specialization. I will take note of my career skills and my bonus career skills. And this is actually where we can come to our character sheet, because it'll be easier to just log these down on our character sheet. So we've got astrogation, computers, coordination, and these are our career skills, so we will just check this here. Computers and coordination. Discipline, knowledge, outer rim. So that's discipline. And then our knowledge skills are all bundled up over here. Outer rim. Mechanics, perception, and planetary piloting. Mechanics will be right here. Piloting on planetaries, which is good for me because I'm a very planetary scavenger. And perception was the last one. So there you go. We've got those career skills, and now we've got also these ones. These might overlap, but there's a reason for that, which I'll get right into. So computers, we already have knowledge, education. So that's again a knowledge skill under education. Knowledge, underworld, and stealth. Knowledge, underworld, and stealth. So now, here's where we start investing some skill points for free once again. You get to choose 4 of these career skills to put a rank into, and 2 of these bonus career skills to put a rank into. So we can start by with these. I definitely want piloting planetary. I want mechanics. I want perception, and I think discipline. I think that's what I'm going to go with. So discipline, mechanics, perception, and piloting. And then, so these are our free ranks that we get because they are our career skills. So we'll put a rank in this. So we want discipline. It's always good to be a little bit more perceptive, as we all know. And then I can choose from this as well, any of these, or 2 of these, that is, because these are my bonus career skills. So I think I'll take computers and stealth. I'm not really formally educated, so I'm not going to go with any of those. But computers and stealth I will go with. Computers and stealth. Now you'll notice that computers is on both of these. If I wanted to, I could take 1 free in this, and then 1 free in this, and have a 2 ranks in computers, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to spread it out a little bit more. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 essentially skill ranks that you get for free upon character creation, taken from 4 of these and 2 of these. So that's all well and good. Now because I'm a human, you'll remember I get 2 free skill ranks in skills that are not career skills, and I'm going to take one of those in ranged light because I want to be able to, you know, shoot people. And maybe streetwise, I'm thinking, or cool maybe. I do like cool. I'm a cool guy. There you go. So those are my bonuses from being a human. All set and done. So we've got that sorted out. Next is how we will be customizing our character even more with our starting experience. So we have 110 experience to spend, and we can spend that improving our characteristics, which I highly recommend you do. Training skills, which are these skill ranks. We can buy more skill ranks upon character creation if we want. We can acquire talents, which are these things. These are talents. So we could buy, you know, this talent to give us one more strength threshold for 5 XP. Or we could buy a code breaker, and then we could go into this one for 5 plus 10, 15 XP. We're not going to do that yet, but that's just what buying talents does. You can do that upon character creation or with any XP you get in the future. One thing about starting XP is that you can spend it on improving characteristics, which are your brawn, intelligence, cunning, intellect, stuff like that. Normally you cannot spend XP to improve these, so I highly recommend taking some improvements to them upon character creation because you won't have a chance to do so later in your character build. There are some talents. There are some talents that will increase your characteristics, but those are very late in the game. So I'm going to take. I want to be. So right now I'm at 2 at all of these because I'm a human. And I want to be. So I'm a smuggler kind of scavenger type person. So I'm not thinking brawn or presence. Oh, not force strength. I'm not force sensitive yet. But I'm thinking of boosting intellect and cunning and maybe willpower. So the way you do this and how much it costs is if I boost this to 3, then that will cost me 30 XP. So we'll take note of that. Of our 110 XP, we'll minus 30. So now we have 80 left over. And we will boost cunning to 3 as well. if I was to boost this, so we'll subtract the next 30 from that. So now I have 50 XP left over because I boosted these 3. If I wanted to boost this to 4 now, then I would subtract 40 again. So it would be 30 and 40 for a total of 4, 5, 6, 70 XP. So it gets quite pricey, but yeah. You can boost these up to 5 on character creation, but no more than 5 on character creation. So I'm left with 50 experience points left. I can either put those into skill ranks, I can buy some slicer talents, but what I'm going to make sure I do first is actually invest in a different career and specialization, which is the Force-Sensitive Exile. Now, you can buy into any career, any specialization. Since this is not in my career, which is, what is it, Technician? Since this is not Technician, this is Force-Sensitive Exile, and I'll be buying into the talent tree. This will cost me 30 experience just to gain access to this tree. So I'm going to subtract that, and I'm now left with 20 XP, and since I'm buying into this tree, I gain a force rating of 1. We will mark that down, which means I can use force abilities, and it's used for different things. And I'm actually going to, since I have 20 XP left, I'm going to put some into this skill tree, and these are talents again. Purple talents are passives, and then red talents are active abilities, which you know are things that you can actively activate, but then passives are things that are always upon you. Insight, these are already career skills for me, so I don't need that skill. Add a benefit per rank of uncanny senses to all perception checks. That seems really good to me, so I'm going to take that, and it's going to cost me 5 XP. So I'm down to 15 XP. And uncanny senses. Since I have uncanny senses now, and that's a talent, we're going to come down here to this big ol' thing of talents, and I'm going to say uncanny senses. I only have 1 rank in it right now. It's worth noting that you can't just buy this as many times as you want. You have to, you can only buy this rank once, and then you can move down. Once you get to this one, then you can buy it again. At that point, you have 2 ranks in it. You can't just buy this talent unlimited times. And then a short description, add a blue to all perception checks. Add blue die to all perception checks. So there you go. That is that. That's how you buy into other skill trees. If I were to say, go back to the Technician, because right now I'm a Slicer. If I wanted to buy into the Outlaw, which is still a Technician, then it would only cost me 20 experience rather than 30, since it's in the same career. But that's just something worth noting. Finally, I'll show you how to invest into skills and ranks into skills. So training into a career skill is 5 times the rank is being raised to. So say we wanted to invest in a career skill of, what are one of our career skills? Planetary piloting. So we want to invest our skill points into this point right here. Since this is the second rank, we will add that, and it will cost us 5 times 2, which is 10 skill points. So that's how you do that. I still have 5 skill points left over, or XP I should say, left over, but I'm not going to worry about that. I think I've gone over everything that goes into spending XP. Finally, we're going to derive our attributes: wound threshold, strain threshold, defense, and soak value. So this is why I had it written down from the beginning, written down all of my human stats, because these will come from the human stats. So my wound threshold up here is 10 plus my brawn. Since I didn't increase my brawn at all, it's still 2. So my wound threshold is 12. My strain threshold is 10 plus my willpower. Willpower is still 2, so it's 12 as well. Now if we go back and we look at soak value, soak, like I said in the other video, it applies to all damage you take, and it's subtracted from all damage you take. And by default, your soak value is equal to your brawn rating. And then armor will add on to that. So right now our soak value is 2. So anything we take damage from will be 2 will be subtracted from it, and that's the actual damage that we take. Defense is only gained by wearing armor. We can move on to gear. Let me see if I was correct. Yes, the budget is 500 credits, although it can be increased by undertaking additional obligation. So we're going to do that. Down here there's a table somewhere, right? Maybe? Up here there's a table, I think. So normally your budget is 500 credits for buying starting equipment. But here we go. We can get an additional 1,000 starting credits for 5 obligation, or 2,500 credits for 10 obligation. So we're going to go with the 5 obligation, and we're going to sort of weave this into our character, meaning that maybe he has made some enemies on his home world, whether that's competition or whatever. But some people are looking for him, and he has some obligation to maybe some money lenders or something like that. So he has these extra credits in his pocket, but there are also some other people that are looking to make sure he is on the right track. So we're going to start with 1,500 credits instead of 500. So we can come down here to Chapter 5, Gear and Equipment. Obviously we're going to be looking at weapons and armor first. So we come down to our weapons. Energy weapons, slug throwers, which are ballistic weapons, thrown weapons, and explosives. Ooh, I might want to get some explosives. That might be nice. I can afford some frag grenades, actually. And I did put that rank into ranged light, so that'll be good. I'm going to buy a couple of those frag grenades. I'm going to write down on my paper here that I have 1,500 credits. I'm going to buy 4 frag grenades, let's say. So that's minus 200 credits. And I'm going to put this in my weapon category. So we're going to come over here. Frag grenade. The crit value, which determines how many successes you have to get in order for it to perform a critical hit, is 4. So you want that to be lower, actually. Crit value is 4. And then any special attributes it has, which is Blast 6 and Limited Ammo 1, which means you just consume 1 each time you use it. Duh. So we're just going to write down Blast 6. A couple other things to note. Encumbrance. Each one of these takes up an encumbrance of 1, so they will start to add up quick. HP is not like hit points, that is hard points, I believe, which determines how much you can upgrade the weapon. So you can't put any modifications on a frag grenade because it's at 0, obviously. Yeah. You probably want a blaster pistol or something as well. Let's look at armor. I'm not going to go through and spend all of these credits because that would take forever. Is already going on quite long. Looking at armor, we do have enough to get some armored clothing actually, and that might be a pretty good use of our money, or maybe padded armor. So I'm going to go with the armored clothing because it has a hard point. That way it means I can upgrade it later. And you can see armored clothing gives me a defense of 1 and a soak of 1 as well. Defense is very limited. You don't get as much defense as you do soak. Soak is much more easy to come by because you can just get more brawn and have more soak. But no, we're going to get some armored clothing. Subtract that from our credit amount. And we will add that to our character. And remember, armored clothing, defense 1, soak 1. So we're going to add the soak value, which is now 3 because of our armor, and our defense is 1 and 1. Some things will specify ranged defense versus melee defense, but armor is just 1 for each. So there you go. What that means is now, whenever someone tries to hit us with a ranged or melee attack, they will have 1 extra difficulty die going against them. So it'll be harder for them to actually hit us, and if they do hit us, we will take less damage from it. So once you have all of your equipment ready, you're pretty much ready to go. Determine your encumbrance. Let's actually see where we determine that from. I believe it is 8 plus your brawn. Encumbrance threshold is 5 plus your brawn. Right. So 5 plus 2, 5, 6, 7 will be our encumbrance threshold. And you add everything up. If you're over your encumbrance threshold, you're fine until you start going much over it. And you can read the rules here. You'll take like a distraction penalty for all of your agility and brawn rolls, which is going to be most of your combat rolls. But yeah, force pool we don't have to deal with because we are not using any force abilities yet. The only force abilities that we have is that talent, Uncanny Senses. But yeah, once we have that, we should mark down that our obligation is more because we took that extra 1,000 credits. So in this total obligation, depending on whatever your GM sets for you, I don't know yet. I just know that I have a +5 to whatever he sets for me. So I'm going to mark that down here because I have those extra 1,000 credits. Total XP, we started with 110. We have 5 left over. Just mark that down so that way we know for later. And credits, I'm not sure if there's a place for credits. Yeah, available credits, and then credits owed in case you are in any debt. So right now I'm at like 300 credits. So there you go. That's everything you need to know to get started and make a character that is fully functional in, Edge of the Empire / Star Wars role-playing. Oh yeah, I can call him Jeremy Bucket. So there you go. I'm also a force sensitive. And that's just about that. You can fill in everything else as you see fit about your character. Yeah. I will get into dice pools and everything in a quick video. The next video will actually be quick. It'll be about dice pools and combat. It'll actually be a lot quicker than this one, but I look forward to that, and that way you can figure out how combat works, because it's, once again, quite a bit different.